moves up to take the...
Men's rugby at UBC has over a century of history. The team's roots can be traced back to when UBC was still known as the McGill University College of BC in 1906.
It means a lot. I've been hearing stories through my dad since being a kid of him playing at UBC, and I've been watching my brothers ever since late middle school. So now that I'm actually here and a veteran already, it's
The Thunderbirds have been synonymous with success both on and off the field since then. They have produced junior and senior national team members, Olympians, and players that have gone on to play professionally around the world. Unlike most varsity sports on campus, the men's rugby team doesn't play in conference-sanctioned intercollegiate competition. They participate in BC provincial club competitions instead. It's important to know that BC has been a hotbed of rugby talent in Canada. The mild climate allows rugby to be played year-round, making the province an ideal stop on global rugby tours. Currently, Vancouver hosts the HSBC World Rugby 7 Series. The Rugby Canada National Training Centre is also located in BC in the city of Langford, just outside of Victoria. Rugby is entrenched in BC's sports history, and no other university team boasts the success of UBC's team.
No, I think the biggest thing is that all of us have recognized that UBC in the 50s, 60s, 70s was the most dominant program in all of Canada, so we're trying to keep the legacy going.
No, we're good. Okay, we're fine now. We're okay.
The Thunderbirds field 3 teams, each playing at a different tier of the BC Rugby Union ladder. The seconds and thirds function as a competitive development structure where players can work their way up all the way to the first team, which competes under varsity status. It's this first team that finds itself taking to their home pitch for nationals.
I'm from Vancouver originally, so I came to UBC for school and then wanted to keep playing. I've always played sports throughout my life, so I wanted to keep playing some sports, and rugby was an opportunity that was here, and yeah, just kind of fell in love with the game a bit more and then kept going, and then throughout the year kind of worked my way up from the third team to now on the Birds, so yeah, it's been good.
You know, it's interesting, rugby is a contact sport, and because of that there's lots of players in and out of the lineup. You know, we're quite lucky to be able to run 3 teams out any given weekend and be deep at all positions. And I think the thing that we benefit the most from is that depth, because competition and practice creates excellence on the field. And you can see how the boys are pushing each other in practice for spots and pushing each other to be better.
So I think it really instills a culture in the whole program that you're not entitled to anything, and but also that it's yours to take or leave. You don't have all this money riding on it that you're gonna lose if you quit tomorrow, but at the same time, you have to earn it, you have to want it.
And I knew coming in that when I was obviously given the opportunity to play in the Birds, play in that first team, that's something that you can never take lightly. It's a true privilege when you get that chance to play for that first team, that you've got to you have to step up and you have to be a leader, 1 to 15, 1 to 23. I mean, there are 23 leaders out there. It's not just one person.
They're guiding each other. There is obviously going to be competition about for a position, but at the same time, they don't always just see it as competition. They see it that these guys, maybe they're going to start taking my position here, but it's because I'm going to graduate, and they need to be this. They need to get in there to actually be able to learn to play in the high level.
Since its inception in 2017, the Canadian University Men's Rugby Championship has been dominated by the Thunderbirds. UBC has won 3 out of 4 titles, with the 2021 edition being an emphatic victory over the University of Victoria Vikes in the final.
With a little bit of a dust-up sliding, Max Abercrombie, another kick for him. Flags are up. That is the game. UBC, Canadian University Men's Rugby Championships. Unbelievable job. Everybody trying to get the touch of that cup.
But much of that championship team has graduated.
This
Tactics, your line.
this added footwork piece, making them actually think about what they're doing.
While this year's team is anything but inexperienced, it's also a group that has a lot to prove.
How much rugby that require right there for him to do? That was just effort, right? There's so much you guys can get away without you don't have to know rugby to this our levels. I'm honest with you, man. If you can go out there right now and you can figure out the basic rudimentary stuff, that effort bit, like being the first guy to ball, oh my God, it's so key. First guy to breakdown, so key. So many athletes have hid themselves and made great teams by just being there first. It's one of those things. If you can afford to be there first, be there first.
To raise the stakes that much more, it's a home defense of a national title. There's everything to play for. UBC hosted the 2022 Canadian University Men's Rugby Championship from November 30th to December 4th, 2022. After defeating the University of Victoria in Kingston, all eyes were on the Thunderbirds to repeat as Canadian University champions.
It's awesome. I mean, it's a super fun thing, especially like when we get to host something like nationals and we actually see people like come out to games and kind of, when you're a kid, you love to like think about that and like play in front of family and friends and stuff. So it's super cool to kind of have, my grandparents here and stuff that can come and watch games.
However, a rocky start to their season by their standards raised questions.
I think what I found with my time here with the guys is that the beginning of the season, we have to go back to the start of our attacking forms and defensive shape.
I'm incredibly superstitious. Like I am. It drives so many people so crazy, and it's not necessarily the healthiest thing either, because you get stuck in your own way. So I am getting better. There was a curse, and that was no host had ever finished very high. It was a build. It's a brand new group of people. It may sound like I'm splitting hairs, but it's so important to their identity because they needed to build something that was theirs, right? Something that was had the same modeled behavior from years previous, but was their own thing. So they built it. The only way they could build that was through some of those earlier games. Showing up and getting our teeth kicked in against the Pride really stung the nostrils. Backing that up with losing to UVic at home, that's never an easy pill. First time that's happened to us in 10 years. Haven't lost those guys here in 10 years.
Start of the year didn't start out the way we wanted, but on another hand, it started out just how we wanted it to.
UBC men's rugby team headed into championships with a 7-3 record, which put them as the first seed in the 2022 championships.
We need to put in a clinical performance from 0 to 80. I mean, for a lot of the games, we were trailing after half, we were trailing after 60, but that dog, that fight, to stay in it till the 80 was something that's throughout the season stood out to me, how resilient these boys are.
It was definitely tough, and those first two games we lost, and then I was out with an injury and they turned it around, so I can't really speak to too much on what the change was other than me being gone.
The Thunderbirds were the last team to take to their home field against the Calgary Dinos.
It's a statement game to the guys in the semis and guys in the finals. We keep going until they have nothing left. Until they have nothing left.
Boys, come on now! UBC on 3! 1, 2, 3! UBC!
Let's go, come on, boys.
The Calgary Dinos were our opponent that day, but really it could have been anybody. We challenged the players to come with the same focus, same intensity, regardless of the opponent. You could see that because we started our best lineup. We weren't trying to set things up for a game down the road. We took each game as the most important game at that moment and treated it as such.
They came out and yeah, it was really nice to see the guys' accuracy on the field and hitting their targets on the field.
We've decided that we're not going to make calls that the referee missed from the sideline, or tell guys what to do.
Wait, you got the yellow? Yes! Yes! Great ball! Yes! Go!
From the first whistle, they made a statement. scoring 5 tries in the first half.
Let's go! We are going to dump our bench. Okay? There is a brand new group of people coming in because thank you so much. That's your shift done for today. New group coming in, you now have to build brand new momentum. You have to build brand new consistency, or you play off the back so that first 30, keep it simple, and walk away with a big old W. I'll get the fuck out of your hair in your sessions. No, please, thank you. Great.
UBC will want quick ball. They've got it.
Carson to the right.
It's on wide.
Big pass out wide.
Simple one-up tackling. Mismatches now with the tight 5 against backs.
Caden Wilson offloads to Dakota McMullen, who goes to ground.
Some good pressure here by UBC.
Down the right side. I think that was number 21. Callum Arneson down the far side.
They entered the bench and wrapped up another 4 tries in the second half to shut out Calgary 50-0.
There's a couple of guys here that I'm going to single out right now. That's Ali Coleman, that's Hilliard Carson, that's Cliff Hayes. You know, these are guys that are coming in, really put the time in to put themselves where they should be. He's fine. He's got 3 tries. It speaks for itself. When we look at the work that you all put in to be a part of moments like this, as this season goes on, this was a great fucking episode. I'm dying to know what happens next. I'm dying to know. Way to leave your audience wanting more. Way to leave you wanting more. What a fucking outstanding push on the line. 0 fucking points. Yeah. I'm not done. I'm not done. Birds on 3. 1, 2, 3. Birds.
It feels awesome. I've never been more excited for a tournament ever. Just like the snow yesterday and the teams coming out, like it feels unreal. It's not like any other tournament that I've been to.
To be able to start with such a dominant performance, I mean, in a season that's had some ups and downs already, what does that mean for the rest of the week?
It's good. I mean, like you said, we had like ups and downs, but I think that just helps us now because we've lost those games because we had to struggle early on, whereas in previous years we just kind of coasted because we had to struggle at the beginning. Now, you know, we've had to work for those starting positions, and now everyone who's in those starting spots, like they deserved it and they earned it, and those guys coming off the bench, like they earn those spots as well. We're constantly fighting for those starting spots.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think our team did a really good job of not taking them lightly at all.
You know, when I look back at that game, it was actually our younger group of kids that came on and they executed that really well. So
I have a tendency to over-prepare, which I'm always going to do. They had put themselves right where they needed to be. The major message was snow fell the night before. We trained out in the blizzard. We had the time of our life. Guys were laughing, had the tunes going. It was real great. And we just said at the end of training, I said, you know, how many of you have won a national championship in the snow? And 13 hands came up. So now that that was out of the way, all they had to do was go home, get a good night's rest. You know, that really it's so easy to talk about everything that these guys did. You know, they prepared. But like, if Jenny Black, Gary Bertley, Dalton, Lapan, Gustavo, Lynn, if those people weren't switched on and in those positions to plow a field, I mean, the shift that those guys run, I think the least we could have done is go out there and win this thing. I think those people are up at 3 in the morning, 9 to 3, took a nap, back at it at 6. Like, you gotta give your best effort there.
There's one thing that stands out when it comes to our players. We don't need to set the focus for them. They're a focus group of individuals, and they know their opponent really well. They do their studying, and they watch their film. When we're getting ready to play a team like Guelph, the players all know each other. They play against them in the summer, whether it's for BC against Ontario or Canada U20s or in Canada camps or these kinds of things. So the need for us to focus our athletes on the task at hand is very minimal. they took it serious right from jump. So the minute we beat Calgary, it was on to Guelph. And the guys' mindset focused immediately. And when we came to training the next day, they knew most of the things that we needed to do to play and beat that team.
While UBC got on the board first, Guelph played fiercely to try and upset the hosts.
Great ball to Dallin on the left-hand wing. He shook number 15, Priscilla McDougall.
After the win against Calgary, some of the this is going to be easy thinking sort of seeped in and corrupted our mindsets a little. But with that being said, they're a very good team. Like they were super quick around the breakdown, and so even a lot of those passages of play where it looks like, or leading up to where they scored, our defense was pretty good. They were just had exceptional play.
You're so incredibly intelligent. You're so incredibly intelligent. Bit of a blessing and a curse though, we just need to keep things simple. And at times, I believe as a group, we equate simple with stupid. Oh, that's simple, anybody can do that. Well, maybe not the case here. Elephant in the room, you look past this team a little bit. Somewhere along the way, we forgot that this team is #1 in Ontario. None of our business how they got there. None of our business what they do with it. But what they've done is they brought that #1 ranking out here, look at all you meatheads out there, and they're playing like they're #1 out of the province. So they get our respect. Now they get our respect. Now we know that we have an opponent here. What do we do about it? I heard Jake Ubyssey say it. I heard Josh Tweed say it. I've heard the UBC say it. We're all really good at saying it. What must we do now? Do it. Just show them, guys. Keep your units. Please on your coaches. Thanks so much. You should be on defense. Just watch them come in. Where are they going to sign? We don't need to mark. We don't need to mark the space if there's nobody going to be numbered. Just settle the people. Okay. Makes sense. We're going to run that zone against that 7. That's all we're going to do.
The Griffins saw themselves battle their way to a 12-7 lead through the 19th minute.
Once again, we did our film on Guelph. The preparation was exactly the same. Things may not have gone the way we would have liked to early doors. Maybe we sort of steered away from our processes, steered away from what we knew worked and what we trusted, what we'd worked on, which is natural. It's a game of rugby, like different things happen, unpredictability, but we obviously managed to find a way to get back into the fight and win the game. In credit to Guelph, they were a class outfit. They definitely challenged us. Their speed around the edges was pretty phenomenal. I mean, I've worked with their head coach Corey Hector in the summer. He's a great guy, great coach. So I knew that they were going to come in with a great game plan. They've got a lot of talented players in their squad, but once again, the boys stuck in it, stuck to what we know, and came away with the win.
Managing to find their feet after some end-to-end play, the Thunderbirds pulled out a 37-17 victory to send them through to a home final.
UBC now have 4 players back for this counter.
Dakota McMullen coming up. Steps to first player. Bosch is through the second. Still going.
Big Bosch against Laval.
Oh, there's Carson. He's through the gap. He's going to back himself. He's going to go in under the posts.
Jack Carson, what a stud, 6'2", 204 pounds in his 4th year, has played with the Canadian men's team, showed his experience there. Well done.
Exactly. I think that was our most complete performance. I think we always try to be clinical in our approach. That's one of the words we like to use. And I think from the entire 60 minutes, we played some of our best rugby, most disciplined rugby. And so, yeah, that was probably the performance we could be most proud of. Even though the scoreline was big, it was a very disciplined game.
McGill is very physical. They're like big boys that are really getting in there. Sure, sometimes that means they're punching your athletes, which is not great, but I think they're just like, it's big physicality. They're like big boys and they're gonna fight for it. So they did put on a fight and throughout the whole game, and we were just battered.
McGill's Cinderella run saw their glass slipper break against the might of the Thunderbirds. A one-sided 48-5 victory made an emphatic statement that UBC was still the team to beat in the Canadian University Rugby. And the curse was broken.
Well, you take everybody seriously, but a team coming out of Quebec, I mean, that was the first time a team in Quebec had been in a final, and you knew they were going to come at you. You knew they were. Unfortunately for them, that their tempo-setting moment was quickly snuffed out by our inside center, Ethan Berry. That was the game right there. You know, I mean, they hung in there. They gave it their all. They're a very physical group. But the moment Ethan Berry carried that ball into their biggest man and sat him down, that was the game.
fought 32-25 wins over Verona RC. Current Thunderbirds Jack Carson and Matthew Persilier joined up with UBC alum Elias Ergas and Nick Allen on the Canadian Senior Men's Sevens roster. They held Canada's stave-off relegation to stay in the 2024 World Series. Though they came up just short in the Olympic qualifier this summer, they'll have one more chance to make it to Paris through the repechage tournament. As summer turns to fall, the slate resets, and the task of defending their familiar crown returns. The 2023 championships will be hosted by Trinity Western University out in Langley. The Thunderbirds will be up for the challenge.
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight. Yeah, I say that we are. This is Rock Nation. Pledge your allegiance. We gon' run this town.
You don't know how high we can fly.
Go Birds. Go Birds.